Mets trailed this game 1-0 going to the 8th inning. They explode for 5 runs in that inning. They go on to get the win by a final of 6-2. They take the opening game of this series from the Phillies. They lead it 1-0, best-of-5 series. But one of the things we have seen from this team, they are never out of a game. We see it time and time again. What does it tell you, Gare, about the makeup of this squad?
You know, it all goes back to that game in Toronto on September 11th, right, when Bowden Francis was pitching a no-hitter through 8 innings and Lindor hit the home run that tied the game, and then the Mets had a huge inning. It seems like that's their M.O. now, except recently they've been doing it against some of the best relievers in baseball. On Monday, Raisel Iglesias, they took him down in the 8th inning. Then on Thursday, it was Devin Williams that Alonso took deep. Today, it was 2 All-Stars, Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strahm, that the Mets beat up in the 8th inning. And they're doing it by stringing hits together, by taking quality at-bats, even fouling off pitches on a bounce, if that's what it takes to keep it going.
Which is what Francisco Lindor did there in that 8th inning, Todd.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that goes along with what you just described is that there's been some very good starting pitching in those games that have then been turned over to a bullpen that is very good. The fact is, as a hitter, at times when you're getting shut down like they were today by Zack Wheeler, or like they have been even by Francis, like you're talking about in the no-hit game, there is this mental edge. I don't care who you are or who's coming in. When you get that guy out of the game, we saw this against Schwellenbach on the Tyrone Taylor at bat, got him out of the game, and then it just finds a way to lift your confidence no matter who's coming in out of the bullpen. That's what you saw against this Phillies team tonight. Zack Wheeler was dominant. Zack Wheeler, all you were really trying to do at that point is have enough long at-bats to get his pitch count high enough that he couldn't complete the game, because there was, at least the way it looked, they were not going to get to Zack Wheeler. Get him out of the game, all of a sudden, confidence goes up. Hits come along, you string things together, the confidence is high, and you have another result like you've had over this past couple of weeks over and over again.
You said on the pregame show, just get to that bullpen, right? No matter what Zack Wheeler does. You said don't let Alec Bohm beat you. He didn't beat you, and I said let's string hits together, and that is exactly what the Mets did there.
Sounds like a good combination.
And I think we knew what we were talking about. So here we go. By the way, it is the 7th time 5 or more runs in an inning for the Mets that Gary mentioned since back on 9/11.
I want to go back to 2 things that happened during that inning that were just incredible. I mean, Alvarez gets the hit on a slider, and that was terrific. Lindor's down in the count 0-2, and the ball bounces in on a nasty slider that's meant to be a swing and miss pitch, and is in 99% of the chances if you're going to swing in that spot, and somehow he fouls it off, keeps the at-bat alive, and then doesn't try to do too much, works out the walk, much as he did in front of Alonso on Thursday. And then Vientos, he takes 2 fastballs for strikes, and he's down in the count 0-2, spits on a slider out of the strike zone. As you said, obviously looking for the slider all along, finally gets a slider. It's on the outer part of the plate. He's out in front, but he's able to hook the ball into left field, and that's the hit that makes everything happen in that inning, and then the Mets just go on from there. I mean, the quality of the bats, the quality of the approach and understanding about what they're doing against specific pitches in specific spots has been just off the chart.
The fact that, again, Zack Wheeler was off the charts. He gave up just that single, the 1 hit in the 4th inning, but they tried to get him out of the game. They finally did 111 pitches for Wheeler when they finally got him out of there. From a confidence standpoint, as somebody who spent 16 years in the big leagues, you're in that dugout. Does that provide a boost for you? Do you feel like, okay, guys, here we go now?
Yeah, like I was just saying, it's an absolute boost when you get a guy that's dealing out of the game. I don't care who they have coming in after him. I don't care if it's a closer or somebody you haven't had success against. When you've got a guy that's got your number on a day, you want him out of the game because he's got your number. But that doesn't make any difference at all if the Mets don't keep this game 1-0 to get to that point. Because, I mean, if he comes out of the 7th inning and it's 5-0, you still got to scratch and claw to get your way even back into the game. When you stay right there and match them pitch for pitch after what essentially was the second pitch of the game, then that's what gives you the confidence. Okay, we just stay close, stay close, stay close. Now we're going to do what we know how to do, and that's fight our way to the finish line better than any team in baseball has all year long, and that's exactly what you saw.
You know, You look at the at-bats against Wheeler today, and on the surface, it looked like the Mets had no chance. And that's certainly true from the standpoint of the fact that there were 30 swings and misses, which is an enormous number, and that the Mets had a 41% chase rate against Wheeler. But they were able to work some long at-bats. They drew 4 walks against Wheeler in 7 innings. You're talking about the pitcher who has the lowest postseason whip in history. He gave up 4 walks, and that's what drove his pitch count up. He threw 111 through 7. If he's at 90 through 7 or 95 through 7, he probably pitches the 8th and maybe even the 9th. But the fact that they were able to at least work some long at-bats against him, even with all the swings and misses, even with all the chases, that got him out of the game.
That is 44 comeback wins for the Mets this season. That is the most in Major League Baseball.